Let's get straight to it. Coming in at number 5, did Amazon just rewrite the countdown to Christmas? That's right. There are 69 shopping days left until Christmas, but the sleigh bells are already ringing, and that's because Amazon hosted its annual Prime Day in October for the first time ever. The move sending other retailers scrambling to launch competing sales way ahead of the traditional start to the holiday shopping season, which would be Black Friday. Seismic shifts, Guy Adami, to this calendar here?
Seismic shift. Does it surprise you, though, Mel? I mean, you were starting to talk about the holiday season in June, and every year it just gets ratcheted further and further back. It's making me crazy. I submit, and maybe I'm, old school, that there should be a moratorium on everything you just mentioned until after Thanksgiving. The Saturday after Thanksgiving. That, to me, is the official start of the holiday season. No, it's not bah humbug. That's actually more holiday focused and more holiday friendly than what's going on now. All that said, Amazon is rewriting the script. I guess in some ways good for them.
Yeah, I mean, we had sales from Walmart, Target during the week, Tim. What does that do to the pace of how consumers spend, especially in light of this weird environment we are in, which is an expectation of stimulus, but no actual stimulus here?
Well, we may be the land of misfit toys tonight, but there's no question that Amazon and Walmart are the leaders in digital sales growth and e-commerce growth and acceleration of all of these trends, right? We spent so much time talking on Fast Money about the trends that are being pushed forward, but that were already well in place. And look at the move year over year in e-commerce, 49% as measured through last month. And as you go into the holiday season, it's going to be even bigger. Amazon, which is about 32.5%, at least if you read a report by Cowen, which I think is great work, goes to 38%, and they continue to take market share. And some of this is because of investments they made months or years ago. But if you look at the holiday season, you can make an argument that Best Buy's already had a holiday season. We're going to talk about Apple tonight. Apple's maybe already had a holiday season. Back to school, learning from home, to the extent that there's been a lot of money spent in the homes, and to the extent that that might have an impact on the holiday season. Who knows? Who cares? Did it start yesterday? It absolutely did.
Yeah, what's interesting is I do think there is this shift here, and just like everything else, the catalyst here is COVID, and it shifts something that was already happening. It reminds me very much of Cyber Monday, right, when we had broadband. So everybody used to go on Black Friday, rush into the stores. Then all of a sudden, it was Cyber Monday. Why was it on Monday? Because people would go to work, they had a better internet connection, so therefore they would buy everything online. Then it switched to just all online. I think this actually could be the point that we look back and say, hey, you know what? COVID accelerated this trend towards things happening earlier in the year, much to Guy's dismay. But I don't think it's just an Amazon development either. Walmart and Target as well are doing it. I even find myself during this period of time, I used to order from Amazon all the time. There's been delivery issues, there's been a lot of other things. I find myself looking at other websites. So I actually think there's an opportunity for a lot of companies that have that real good e-commerce platform to take market share from Amazon during this time.
Is there hope, Guy, for the likes of a Macy's, for the guys that sell the apparel? Well, this holiday season might be different, right? You might be tired of buying pots and pans and, shall I dare to say, Dutch ovens. And buy scarves and sweaters and soft goods, if you will.
Unless Macy's can somehow recreate the magic of Miracle on 34th Street and somehow Natalie Wood were to come back and reenact her role and all those cool things we saw at the end with the cane at the house leaning against the door frame and the magic of Christmas. Unless any of that happens, which my sense is it won't, I don't think Macy's is all that viable. Listen, when I buy something online next, it'll be my first time. I think you understand that. And after this show, as you probably know, I was going to go wait online at the application store to hopefully pick up one of these Amazon things because apparently all the cool kids are doing it. With all that said, I mean, the days of the big box retailers, in my opinion, are dwindling. And I think what's happened over the last 6 months was in place long ago. This just sped it up, Mel.
The underpinning, of course, to this is very strong retail sales numbers that we saw for the month of September, Tim. And is that hopeful, or did we just see the peak?
Well, retail sales have been these have been inconsistent numbers over the last couple figures, and I think some of this has been tied into tracking when stimulus ran out. Some of this is actually looking for optimism around renewed benefits. But look at the payroll numbers, look at the jobless claims numbers. It's hard to get excited about where there is fundamental top-down support for the consumer. But again, I would argue that the consumer is reallocating the household wallet. And yes, the household wallet in many households is not the same. In many households, it is the same. And even for those where it's not the same, a lot of expenses have been cut and reallocated. I just go back to Macy's. Jeff Jeanette has done a great job in transitioning that business. And it's not going to happen overnight. And this is not necessarily they're going to compete. But guys like Guy who are waiting in line at the application store still love the experience inside of Macy's. But more importantly, digital sales were up 53%. That balance sheet has been fortress. They raised some money. They've got $1.3 billion in cash. They've got $3 billion on the balance sheet in terms of accessible credit. So while that story hasn't turned around, look at any business that had to restructure and was fundamentally broken before COVID. And this is, again, has accelerated restructuring ideas and concepts that I think has made Macy's a stronger company coming out of this, even if their best days may be back with Natalie Wood. I don't know. Love Natalie Wood.
Guy has his hand up, so I shall call on Guy.
Oh.
No, I raised my hand because it's important. I would say there's a caveat here, Mel, as you probably know. If Macy's were to have a line, for example, of Charlie in the boxes to Tim's Misfit Toys, then I would consider. If they did like a whole Land of Misfit Toys department, then G Swizzle is all over that. I think BK would come with me as well. Short of that, I ain't going to Macy's.
Tim has his hand up,
Yeah,
so I shall.
the land of the.
Tim, go ahead.
Sorry, really quick, Brian. Because Guy Adami has had every job in the book, I'm just wondering if he's ever been Santa. Not sure if Guy, have you ever dressed up in the red outfit?
Yes, it's not typically during the holiday season, but I don't think that's necessarily appropriate right now.
Okay.
Another kind of show.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
I think we've just proven that the land of misfit toys is here on Fast Money. We found it.
We absolutely have. All right.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.